All right, everybody, we are back again, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. And once again, we have the brother Mike Olawale on with us again today, or this evening. And we're going to be discussing Jesus versus Muhammad. Can either save Africa? And the reason why we're building on this, because again, when I travel to Africa, the majority of Africans have turned away from indigenous spirituality and instead adopted Western religion. And so, what we're going to address today, and the question we're going to ask today is, can Africa really find its salvation or really experience its independence through Western religion, through Jesus, through Muhammad, or do we need to get back to our indigenous spirituality in order to experience, I would say, freedom in regards to the continent? So, Mike, how you doing today?
Oh man, I'm doing great, my brother. How are you, man?
No, I can't complain. I can't complain. So, Jesus versus Muhammad. When we speak on freedom, okay, are we wasting our time by implementing or by using religion, going to church or going to the mosque, by worshiping, or practicing Christianity or Islam? Are we wasting our time by doing that? Or should we go back to our indigenous spirituality and leverage that in the fight for freedom or being self-sufficient?
If you don't think you're wasting your time with Christianity and Islam, then I don't know what else to tell you, man. I don't know what time if you look at our situation and if you don't think this is a time wasting, then I don't know what the hell to tell anybody. And if you're talking about African freedom, I mean, we all know it's clear that we are in bondage. It's obvious, because knowing that Africa being the richest continent and we don't see anything going on, we all know about all these puppet things going on. And it's clear. Anyone that's intelligent and they understand global economics and all these things, that if the whole world depends on African resources, that's a saying. There are people that did research and say if you shut down the continent of Africa for 2 weeks, the world economy will if you shut down the continent whereby nothing comes in, nothing goes out, the world economy will collapse. So the whole world depends on Africa, Europe, United States, all these other world, it depends on Africa heavily. And Africans are now obviously we are now in control of what's going on. Whoever is ruling us are all puppets, it's clear. So now let me get to the spiritual. You're saying our religion.
What I mean is, if you look at Europe, okay,
Yeah.
Europe used the Bible as a tool to colonialize Africa, colonialize the planet. They leveraged the Bible, they leveraged religion,
I
Christianity.
would say they use tricks. They use tricks pretty much.
Right.
Everybody use tricks. So I mean, if you look at the history of the religion, these all came from the Romans. When the Romans realized that, hey, in order for us to conquer people, we really cannot we cannot go to a territory and kill everybody. So in order for us to conquer people, we have to conquer their minds. You understand? So that's why if you look at history of Christianity, the time of the Crusade, if you look at Islam, jihad, they will force you. Jihad, Islam, how they spread Islam was like they come to a place and they'll tell you either you accept Islam or you die. Kind of like the Christianity did the same thing at one point. Though later they decided switching and started using hell to threaten the people. So they started using more. So if you look at history, you know that they have always used religion to conquer people, to conquer the minds of people. And if you notice, if you go to places in Africa, you will notice that, like in Nigeria, for example, the north is Islamic and the south is Christian. It's more Christianized. So if you notice in the north, if you're an Arab, people worship you. Like they say an Arab person, they'll pretty much bow down. The northern Nigerians, they look to the Arabs, they look to the Middle East. That's why people from the northern Nigeria, where they travel to, usually like Saudi Arabia and those kind of places, and people from the southern Nigeria, where they travel to, is more like the United States and Europe, because when they see white people, they think they're seeing white Jesus. When they see a white man, they think of Jesus. That's why people from the southern Nigeria they bow down to white people, and people from the north, when they see an Arab, they think of Muhammad. They started worshiping. So kind of like the religion was brought to kind of conquer our minds, So that's what I think. Now, to say you want to save you want to save ourselves, to say we want to free ourselves, to
Right. I mean, can we truly be free through?
Of course, man. We just gotta wake up. That's all. People refer to us as sleeping giants. So I mean, they know what they're talking about. So we definitely can be free. People just gotta wake up to it and just gotta get to the point where they realize it. And unfortunately, a lot of people have realized it, but it's impossible for only few to wake up and the rest are asleep. And then those few cannot do it on their own. Everybody have to wake up. You know what I'm saying? So people there know, they got the knowledge, they got the wisdom, they know what it takes to free the continent. They exist. They've always existed. They've always existed. You know. So the only thing is people waking up the rest of the people and then mobilizing, organizing ourselves. That's all that's needed. Just we organizing. That's why I like people like yourself. The platform you're doing, trying to connect with diasporas and Africa, and I mean, pretty much teaching us to stop the self-hate and get our minds together. First thing first, we need to free ourselves from ourselves, heal ourselves first before we can even try to take on anybody else. So we're gonna free, you know. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a long journey. You know, that's like a journey we haven't even started. I mean, most of us haven't even started. We're still confused. You know, we're still in the wilderness. That's why they refer to us as the sleeping giants. You know.
All right. Somebody in chat says those three religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, are made by non-Africans. So Africans have no business having any of these religions. What is
Listen, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way, man.
Go ahead.
A human body, right? Your body, if you put something that's not natural to your body, if you put something inside of your body, just put it there inside. No matter what reason why they put it, even though if they put it there to say they use it to help your organ work, to perform, they put a material in your body that's not natural to your body. You're gonna be a sick person. You understand? Something that's not indigenous to you, to a land, you put it there. It's something that doesn't belong in your body. If they put it in your body, it's gonna create cancer in your body. You understand?
Right.
So what Africans dealing with is like we're dealing with cancer. We having things that doesn't belong to us that's inside of us. You understand? So it's like a cancer. That's what's causing a sickness in Africa. You know, we are sick people because we have things that doesn't belong to us that we're holding on to. There's something inside that we're using that does not belong to us. It's making our life, it's making us sick until we wake up to realize that this is not mine. This is not indigenous to me. Let me find what is mine, what is natural to me, and let me work with it. Whether it's not perfect or not, whatever is mine, let it be mine. You understand? That's what I think our problem is. So now for me to I mean, kind of like what's the word, man? For me to compare, like, kind of prove my point that this is all. I'll put it this way, man. There's a saying that experience is the best teacher, right?
Right. Go ahead.
For me, I believe that that's only for anyone who's not wise enough, because anyone with higher wisdom, we understand that history is a better teacher, because history is a kinder teacher. You understand? So that's why I always say a lot of things that I do in life, before I do it, I always study the history of it. Whether I want to engage in something, business or something, I want to know, has somebody done it before? And if somebody succeeded or somebody failed, let me go study their mistakes or what they did right, what they did wrong. So it's good to always study history of situations. So now we're saying can Christianity or Islam save us, whether through with a revolution or something. Now let's look at history. Let's look at history real fast.
Go ahead.
Recent history. We've had people that have carried out revolutions. People like, I can give you names like Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, Sekou Touré, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, all these people. They all had the same thing in common. They all tried. They did their best. But what happened? They failed, right? And what religion do they all have in common? Is it that they were Muslims or they were Christians? Yes or no?
Right. They were
Every one of them. If you do research on their personal life, you find out they were either a Muslim or a Christian. You know, if you do research on them, and if there were atheists among them, then I don't think he was an African indigenous practitioner. I don't think so. I haven't heard of any revolutionary leader in recent past that was an African spirit. Those the voodooists. And all this revolution, these guys all failed. Now, I'll tell you, if you look in the history, the only black revolution against Europeans that succeeded was the Asian Revolution.
Right.
And that they succeeded. And what did they use? The spiritual system they used was African spiritual system.
Right.
Voodoo, right? So history tells you that the only thing that has succeeded, that has worked, the only spiritual system that has worked as far as revolution-wise was the African spiritual system. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of time when people say, hey, Mike, hey, let's go do this Pan-African thing. Let's come join us, man. Let's roll. I always look at them because I'm like, these guys, man, okay, it's good. The idea is good. Because I've seen you in when you make shows about, I just listen to your talk. You guys have wonderful ideas. People have ideas. The ideas is beautiful. You understand? But The thing is, have you taking on the idea? The idea that you're talking about, somebody else has tried it before. There's nothing you guys are talking about. They are listening to them. Kwame Nkrumah did not talk about. They all carried it out. He failed. So what lessons have you learned from these guys? You know what I'm saying? So and I'll tell you one thing, man. I'll tell you one thing. When people come, if you guys would have called me, you and Awini or anybody else, say, hey, Mike, come and join us in this Pan-Africanist thing, I would tell you, you know what? I don't think you guys are ready, and I don't think you guys are ready history. Because all these people that I told you that failed, right? From Thomas Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. If you study the people that the enemy used to take them down were people in the inner circle, right?
Right.
You had Martin Luther King's own church member was spying for the CIA, spying on his own church member. You had Malcolm X's own mosque, people that go to mosque with him, where they want to assassinate him,
Correct.
Patrice Lumumba, his own secretaries, and people around him, where they want spying for the Belgians, and so people around you alone. And Thomas Sankara, his own best friend, the closest person who trusted his life, was the one that killed him. Blaise Compaoré.
Right. Damn.
It's one the French used. So people around you, and people can say, "Oh, why do black people always set each other up? Why do black people always collaborate and easily just betray our great leaders, our revolutionary leaders?" Listen, I told you earlier, black people, we love pleasure. Listen, this is the easiest thing that the colonialists do. When they want to take you out, they realize that we don't. For example, when they wanted to take Patrice Lumumba out, when the CIA say, okay, how can we get to this guy and poison him or do something? The Belgium, they've known that because the United States didn't really colonize Africa very well, so they didn't understand Africans very well. But the British, the French, and the Belgians, they've known us a long time. They understand our tribalism and all those things and understand our nature. So the Belgians say, no, you don't have to try to do that. We'll let the Africans do it. We use the Africans to do it. They know they can easily use us against ourselves. And you would wonder, like, why would someone that's close to someone just take him out? Listen, right. If they take you to a woodshed, let's say the colonialists, they approach one of your inner circle and say, hey, come here, man. Come sit down. Let me talk to you. And they show you Paris and say, hey, my friend, look at a mansion in Paris. They show you London. They say, look at their condo, their luxury condo in London. They show you Manhattan. They say, look at this beautiful condo in Manhattan right here.
Right.
Look at this mansion in Malibu. See, we'll give you, you look at these model French girls. Do you want to have sex with all of them? They show you all these things. They will show you millions of dollars. And they will tell you, hey, all you have to do for us is just betray this guy. And all these things is yours.
Right.
You get it?
Exactly.
I mean, all these things is yours. You can get a passport. He will give you an EU passport, United States passport. You can travel to all these countries anytime you want. Your children can come to free school. I mean, they can buy any human being. You understand what I'm saying? They can buy people to turn against their own, their home. Money can easily buy somebody. You understand?
Right.
So for any Christian in the world today, show them money or something. They would, especially when Christianity, if that person is a Christian, Christianity already tell you that if you commit sin, just ask for forgiveness. That person would take that money, take all that shit, and commit
right, sin, and ask for forgiveness that Sunday.
You understand what I'm saying? That person. So this religion does not really give you a reason not to fall for what do you call it? That kind of deals. So people, right. Money is the root of evil. Now let me tell you something about African spiritual system, right? If you call me and say, Mike, come and lead us in this revolution to free Africa, come and be the leader. The first thing I'll tell you, I'll say, Dennis, listen, before I can do this on one condition. You and everybody else, they're going to be part of it, including the person that's going to be cleaning my office, cleaning my toilet, anybody that's going to be around me. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to a voodoo shrine and take an oath. That...
Say that again.
You didn't hear me? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but say it again. People need to hear this.
Anybody that's going to be around me to follow me in this revolution for me to lead you, first thing first, we're going to do, I'll take each and every one of you, including anybody that's going to be cooking my food, cleaning my toilet. Anybody's going to be around me. My secretary, anybody's going to be around me. Before you get around me, I'll take you to a voodoo shrine. We're going to take an oath with the spirits. Take an oath that anybody among you that betray me or even have conversation with the enemy that is gonna make anyone attempt to betray me would die. The spirit and we'll take an oath. You understand?
Right.
Now, when you start a revolution, it's up to you to now say you want to take that money, the mansion they want to offer you in Europe and all that money to sell out. You know that you break that oath. And anybody that's watching me right now, if you think this whole voodoo thing is fake, go and take an oath. Go and try it and break that oath and see what happens to you. If you think it's something, go ask any African. Go and take an oath with a voodoo priest and break that oath and see what happens. The spirits don't. Justice is justice. They carry out justice. You use your own mouth to take an oath. In voodoo system, if you break that oath, you're finished. This is real. I don't know. Listen, man. This thing is real. Like our spiritual system, once you take a oath with a spirit that you're not gonna do this and you do it, that justice is gonna fall on you. Now, people, like I mentioned before, people take oath with the Bible and it's evidence. We see it every day. Our politicians in Africa, they take an oath swearing office, like, hey, I will not, I will not be corrupt. They take an oath of office with the Bible and the Quran. And as soon as they get in, they break the laws. They break their oath.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
They
I'm saying?
do the court.
So,
You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth. And
Yeah.
they found out the lie.
Get understand. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay, now I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I didn't hear you for a minute.
Yeah. Like I said, immediately when they get on the stand, they take the oath and they break it immediately. Right when they get on the stand, they break the oath.
Exactly. So now, if you're telling me that we want to use, you want me to come lead a revolution, and everybody around me going to take it over the Bible or the Quran, I'm not interested, my friend. I mean, history tells all these things I'm telling you. History proves it. So it's not like I'm here just talking nonsense, history tells. Go study history and anything you want to do in life. History will teach you a lesson. That's why I say history is a kind of lesson. Experience is not the best teacher. History is a better teacher. If I say, okay, then let's go experience a revolution without me studying history and knowing what has happened in the past, and follow you to use Christianity and Islam to start a revolution in Africa, you're finished. People around you will betray. They will buy people around you to destroy you. All those people that were surrounding Martin Luther King, after they died, they were all working for the government anyway.
Right.
People. I mean, like, you can't trust people. You cannot trust human beings, dude. Like,
you want to know? They said that damn, hold on. The president of Cuba, Castro.
Yeah.
Castro. They say Castro was into some type of African spirituality. I think Paulo out of the Congo, I believe.
Oh,
and
Paulo Mayombe.
Yeah. And they said that's part of the reason why
even
all this assassination attempts, they couldn't kill him.
Yeah, there's something in the Ifa system. There's something Ifa. There's some rituals they do in the Ifa system. It's called the Ide Ifa. Like this singer Fela Kuti.
Yeah, of course.
When they used to interview, he used to say that, you know what, they can't kill me. He used to say they can't kill me, because I have death in my power. That's why they call him Anikulapo. You know what they mean of Anikulapo?
What is it?
They mean someone that has death in his pouch.
Okay.
So basically, in our spiritual system, they can actually do some rituals whereby nobody can kill you. Like, you make people cannot kill you. Basically, anyone that even make attempts, they fail. They constantly fail to kill you. So they call it. It's like if you have to go do a study, man. It's a lot of deep stuff, So people that are into spiritual system, a lot of them, especially the priests, they do all those things, rituals where they have the charm, whereby any attempt, anyone try, people just cannot successfully kill you, So people like that, Fela was making this guy was challenging almost. His music was so revolutionary, and they were arresting him, do everything. Fela was alive, though he went through everything, but Fela just could not be killed. He said, I don't know if he actually did it, but he used his own mouth to say, hey, they can't kill me. Because Fela believe in African spiritual system. He doesn't believe in Christianity or Islam. He make music against all those things. Like, he said, you Africans are fooling yourself. You made so many songs about, say, you guys are fooling yourself with this Allah Akbar and Jesus Christ. So there are things, rituals that people do, but I don't know if the spiritual system is very strong in Cuba, definitely. So I don't know if Castro was involved.
Sure, that's what I heard. That's what I've heard. He was involved in some type of initiative, some type of African spirituality system.
Yeah, the Yoruba system is very strong in Cuba, and Paulo was another. Ifa is the one that really traveled there. Paulo also came there. Paulo Mayombe also came to travel with the slaves. But the one is really strong that slaves really have the, what was it, E5? But the probably is pretty much, like I said, African spiritual system is the same. It's all the same concept. We deal with the same deities and everything. So, people that
Hey,
have,
so we have a statement in the chat room. What he's saying doesn't make sense. He thinks that people practicing African spirituality is infallible. What's your thoughts on that?
it's a
Response
what?
to that? Infallible, basically invisible, I guess.
I'm not saying everybody that's practicing African spiritual system is invisible. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are rituals that people can do for certain things. I'm not saying anyone that's involved in that is just, you just can't go kill them or something. And in fact, it's not like your decision that, like all these things, when you do these rituals, like with path with the spirit world, saying, you know what, I want to be alive. I want a situation where uh, no one will be able to kill me and things like that. And if it's the will of your, I mean, those the people that are really in charge of this whole thing is in the spirit world. It's not really the saying in our spiritual system. You're not the one making decisions, man. You understand? You're not. It's not like a priest that can wake up and start doing magic. You're not the one making decisions. That's why you divine. Whenever, let's say you want to do something, even when you want justice, everything. That's why they divine. Okay, this is the situation. This is it. And if things you want to endeavor, if the divination, like the spirit world, like the Creator, Olodumare speaks that he supports you. You understand?
Right.
There's no force in the planet that can stop you. That's what I'm saying. So if somebody wants to, let's say you call me now and say, let's go launch a revolution using our back ourselves with our spiritual system. I'm not going to say, okay, let's just go. First thing I'll do is we go with divine, ask what the opinion of the Creator is, of God and the spirit world, ancestors, everyone ever. And they tell us, okay, go ahead with the revolution. Then they will give you instruction. Okay, go do this ritual to protect yourself, so that way you will not die, or So these decisions are up to our decision. We are not the one making the spiritual final decisions. It's the Creator, it's God that's making the decision. You understand? The Pretty much people, those in the spirit world, are the one making a decision, doing things, events to make things go the way they want it, the way it should be. Pretty much the person that make the final decision is God before the Orishas and even us and our ancestors, everything. So if God is behind us and we're doing what we have to do, even instruction will be given to us that, okay, everyone, if you do the ritual, if you do this, you must not do this, you must not do that. So there are rules. So it's not like we, the spiritualist people, are just, we just Superman, Superwomen, we can go out and start behaving the way we like. No, we act according to, spiritual guide. So those that are thinking I'm just talking like I'm Superman, like, that's not the point. That's not the point. You know, but
I mean, in regards to how religion influences Africa today, if we continue on this path, where do you think I mean, what's the future of Africa if we could, if Africans continue to be solely dependent on Christianity, Islam, what's the future of Africa? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't see a future, honestly. You know what? The bottom line is this, man. Like our spiritual system say, you know what? You're suffering in order for you to. Your suffering is a pretty much a sign for you to correct something. The reason why we're suffering in Africa is because there's something we're not doing right. You understand? The things we're not doing right, and until we look at ourselves and say, you know what are we doing wrong? Why are we until we suffer enough? Because we're too resilient. Black people are very resilient people. You understand? We can endure suffering and keep taking it until we get to the point where we know, we say, no, I've suffered enough. I need to do something to end my suffering. You understand? When your back is really against the wall. Even the slaves in Haiti, before they decided to launch the revolution, they got to the point where slaves were only the life expense what's the word, expense when how did they use that word? Life expectancy of every slave was like 12 years. Once they were walking into death before they finally say, you know what, this is enough. Our back is against the wall. And they realize, okay, what is left? What do we have? Okay, we got this. Let's use it. Let's launch a revolution. So the Asians, before they even decided to launch a revolution, their back was completely against the wall. You understand? Right. So Africans, we're resilient, and one of the reasons why we're so resilient again is Christianity will tell you to turn the other cheek when they slap you, those kind of things, just take and they will teach you that, you suffer in this world, you go to heaven to enjoy, So, like they teach you all these things to soft, just to make you, to preach to you to soft, make you feel soft, They never ask yourself a question. Europeans brought a book to you, Bible, and the Bible is telling you the book they brought to you. They're telling you that when somebody slap you, you should turn the other cheek. Forgive your enemy. Okay,
Right.
forgive your enemy. I have a question, man. Tell me when in history as Europeans turn the other cheek to somebody or even forgive anyone.
Nope, didn't happen.
Listen, Osama bin Laden, when he ran a plane into the building, the
They
United
dropped
States government,
they dropped bombs on
listen,
everybody.
listen, man, they killed so many people that didn't have nothing to do with it.
They dropped bombs on the wrong people.
And they spent like 10 years with millions of dollars, like so much money just to find this guy. And when they find him, they spend all this money and all this money just to find him, just to put a bullet in his head. That's
Right.
it. That's all you spend all this money for and kill all these people for, just to find him and make sure. Like, what's his name? Muammar Gaddafi, right? They accuse him of bombing a plane in the 80s, right?
Right.
And then they later on around the 90s, they told him that, okay, you know what? If you give up your weapons program or something, we will forgive you for everything you've done, right? And he gave up the weapons program. And you think they forgive him? What did they do? They still came back later on and killed him and told him that. And people wonder, why did they kill him? He gave up the weapon. They said, oh, he killed people. He bombed the plane in the 80s. I thought you already forgive him. You know,
Right.
you look at the people that brought your religion. They don't practice it, man. They don't practice the religion they brought to you. You know, they're not Europeans. Don't honestly. When I was in Nigeria, people are so the way Nigerians practice Christianity. I haven't met a white person that practices it the same way. Like Nigerians are the only one to go to church. Like Monday, they have every service for every day of the week. You know, Wednesday service, Friday service, prayer warrior service, this service, Sunday service. They have service, all kinds of service. When I came to the West and see white people, most
Right.
white people don't even go to the church. The only time the ones that go to church, maybe they go on Sunday and once in a while. They're not even into their Christianity that deep, you know. And they're the one that brought it to us, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like we're more, our people are more into it than the people that brought it to them, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like we're so deep into it, you know. And I'm telling you about people not into history. Like Africans are not into history, you know.
Right.
And the colonialists,
I would say this:
yeah.
Africans are into history. It's just because a lot of Africans are so brainwashed. They'll just, I would say, if refuse to accept the truth of what happened in history.
No. Let me tell you something, man. Like, okay, for example, in Nigeria, right? In Africa, period, the colonialists make sure they collaborate, they work with their puppets they put in place to make sure they take history out of curriculum in schools. So in Nigeria, we don't learn. The only thing close to history we learn is something they put in a subject in social studies. And what they talk about usually like something about England or our colonial people. They tell us how great they are. They pretty much teach us how great Europeans are, you know. So what we learn in school is not even in history class. It's more in social studies. They will teach us that, oh, it was Mungo Park. They discovered River Niger, things like that. And just like in America, they'll tell you that it was Columbus. They discovered America. And all these stupid things, you just say that Europeans are so great. When Columbus discovered America, didn't he find Americans living there already, like Native Americans living there? When he came, he was Mungo Park, some Irish guy to discover River Niger, Nigeria. When he came there, didn't he see Nigerians already, you know, in the river? You know, like some dumb things like that is what they teach us. That's the kind of history we learn. Like in history of something about Europe, you know, like the great King George and all that stuff. We don't learn our own history. We don't learn about slavery. Most Africans don't know anything about. We don't learn about. Most Africans start hearing about Atlantic slave trade when they came to America. That's why most African Americans are confused. Like, how the fuck you don't know about slavery? You know, if I didn't grow up in Lagos, like if I didn't come from the part of Nigeria where the slave trade was actually like a place in Badagry. In Lagos, there's a place called Badagry. If you go over there today, you'll find the evidence of slave trade. You find the chains and all those things that white people left behind, kind of like the door of no return. You find all those things there. That's the only thing that will give you a sign that slavery happened. But as far as in school, they don't teach it. We don't learn about transatlantic slave trade. Most Africans don't know. And they don't even teach us about all these African leader guys who I just mentioned, like Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Sekou Touré, all those guys that Marcus Garvey, all these guys that did sacrifice, gave their life for the struggle. If you travel to, they don't teach about those people in school either. If you travel to Africa, you start asking Africans questions like, do you know who Kwame Nkrumah is? Do you know who Patrice Lumumba is? Do you know, you name all these guys. 8 out of 10 people do not know who these people are.
Right.
8 out of 10 people you run into will say, who the hell is Kwame Nkrumah? Who the hell is, they don't know. And these people die for you, you know, and you're telling me to go launch a revolution for these people, same these Africans. I don't trust. See, if I would launch a revolution, it will be for the sake of God, not because of the sake of these people that are existing right now.
Right.
These Africans, I don't think they deserve my the way they're thinking and the way they reasoning. I don't think they deserve my blood to be sacrificed for them until they are ready. Their head is straight and they deserve even. I think Africans deserve suffering that they're getting until they wake up. You know what? I don't even feel. I used to feel bad that people are suffering, but I'm like, you know what? Until you tired of suffering and you prove to me that you're tired suffering and you're ready to, understand that it's not your place to be suffering in this life. It's not you're not born to be suffering. You're not supposed to be suffering. You're on the richest continent in the world. You're not supposed to be suffering. This is not your position. You understand? You wake up and say, I cannot take this. I'm not supposed to be suffering. I'm supposed to be living well. Most Africans just accept that, oh, this is all. We're supposed to be suffering. The Europeans are supposed to be enjoying. If you want to enjoy life, enjoyment is only for the white world, Europe and America. That's the only place enjoyment is. And that's why many of them, most Africans, if you ask them what's the African, in America, you have something called the American dream, right? The American dream, is in America, right? To go do something and become this and that, become doctors, lawyers. In Africa, the African dream is to live Africa and go to Europe and America.
Right.
That's the
Crazy.
dream. Ask everybody in Nigeria, hey, what is your dream? Ask people, hey, what is your Nigerian dream? Oh man, my dream is to get a passport and go to get a green card and go to America and maybe end up in England and France. And that's the dream our children, we sell it to our children in Africa. So we don't have an African dream, and until they get to those countries and start experiencing racism or people, that's why. And I was telling some Nigerian, I'm like, he say, oh, he doesn't like African American because they make fun of Africans. I say, I like them for that. I love it. Before, I used to be mad that Black Americans used to make fun of me when I was in high school. That they call me African booty scratcher. Now,
let me address that. Black Americans, we make fun of everybody.
Women for that's the thing.
We joke and clown everybody.
I never realized that.
That is how we roll.
When I was a kid. No, even back then even back then. I first thought that they just didn't like Africans. But what I realized was they were making fun of each other. They were doing it to each other.
Right.
So it's just what many Africans think, oh, it's because they don't like them. No. These kids are just spoiled. They just, that's the kind of thing they do in the neighborhood, the environment. They didn't have, usually those kids that didn't grow up with a positive role models, they didn't have their dads, so they just have that stupid mentality. So it's not like they're talking to you because you're African. They just clown each other too. So that's just their mentality. But we coming from Africa, that's not the kind of things we do. We're not, they teach you to be nice to people. So and many Africans are taking it to heart and they're still holding it against Black Americans. And I always say, you know what, you got to let that kind of thing go, man. You can't, you got to work with it, you got to get along with these people. And it's really not happening anymore like it used to back. I came in the 90s, in the late 90s. So it was really back then tough, But to me, I look back and say, you know what, we deserve to be insulted. Why would you be leaving your continent to be going somewhere else? You deserve to be insulted, because if they don't insult you, maybe the insult will wake you up, make you realize maybe you're not welcome around here. You shouldn't be here. You should be in the continent, building the continent. You shouldn't be fleeing the continent. You should be home. You should not be living in someone else's. You come into America where people. People. They enslave people to build. They kill people to to take over the land, and you want to be part of it. I'm not saying anyone. I live here too, so I'm guilty. So I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite.
Right.
So it's just the fact that things is not the way things is. It's just not normal. It's not where it should be. We should not be the dream. The homeland of blacks should not be United States or Europe. The homeland for everyone, the continent belongs to every descendant of African. You understand? It doesn't. And many African Americans always say those Africans. I always say, listen, man, Africa is your land. You belong to that. That's your land. That's your right. That's your rightful home. No one can deny you that home. That's your home, dude. You need to go claim it. Forget that it doesn't belong to the Nigerians only or the Ghanaians or the continent belongs to anybody. Whether you're from the Caribbean, you're from South America, from the United States, always see Africa as your property. That's your rightful property. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at it as, oh, the problem of Africa is for the Africans. No, that's your land. That's your home. You can go to Africa any day. Nobody will know where you're from. As long as your skin is, you are African in you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I always say that, like, hey, so the reality is things is just not where it should be. It's not normal. And everybody needs to start realizing and start accepting that, listen, you may be making money, you may have a good job and be okay. But the fact of the matter is, it's not normal. And my sister, for example, she came to America happy and she's giving birth, she's having kids here, and she's not even trying to teach her kids anything about Nigeria. I'm like, listen, you don't understand because you've already learned the culture, you already have Nigerian, you speak the language and everything. So to you, being here, you're happy because you're living a better life, you're making better money, and your culture is still in use. They never left you, but you're not teaching your children your culture. You think they're gonna be as happy as you when they grow up? No, they're not, because now they're being, you know, they are. She's teaching them that they're Americans, they're American kids. I'm like, yo, you just. So there's a lot of things that's wrong. But to stick to the topic, man, like when it comes to what can save Africa, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, history already tells you, like, you cannot say you want to launch your revolution and the religion you want to use is Christianity or Islam, because they've already failed. And it's been proven that uh, our spiritual system has worked when we launched a revolution. And
Right.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. You guys are talking about African Union and all these things.
Yes.
Man, forget all these things that's going on, dude.
Well, African Union is ran by the
Yeah,
E.
he's ran, man. Simple. I mean, these guys are bought. They're bought and sold. So Africa is pretty much bought and sold. So anybody should give up on all these leaders, all these things that we have going on, until we start having people that are spiritualists. We take our spiritual system to govern ourselves, to govern the African Union, to govern our countries, whereby everything we do, we don't separate our the spirit world from it. We don't separate our ancestors from it. Our ancestors are involved. The orishas are involved in our decisions makings. You understand? The deities are involved in everything we do. That's the African way. During the days of our Asian forefathers, when they used to rule the world, everything they do, they don't do it just with their brain. Ordinary, they do it with their consciousness, and they involve. They were spiritual. They don't. Heaven and earth is not separated, because we live experiencing physical world doesn't mean everyone's in the spirit world is not involved in everything we're doing. We just want to separate ourselves from the spirit world mentally, but the spirit world is still involved in everything we're doing in our daily lives. We don't even know. Heaven and earth is inseparable. It's side by side. It's created. Things we're doing on earth is making effect in heaven. And the heaven is responding. That's why things are happening. We're wondering, like, why is this thing happening? The heaven is also responding to things that we make decisions there. Everything we do, we are moving energies. And everything we do is a form of ritual. It's a form of sending message. Even the word that we speak, our spoken words, are very powerful. They travel to the spirit world. You understand what I'm saying? We have to be careful how we speak. Some things we speak and we see something happening to us, So the spirit world and the physical world, that's the way of the African. We don't believe it's just one word. Like, oh, we are on earth. We have no business with everyone until we die. Then that's what. No. Things they're doing is everyone is watching. The spirit world is involved. It's just the spirit part of the world are doing their own. They're doing their part. But we in the physical world, we're not doing our part. We're lost. We're confused. We're not doing our part. Our spiritual system, we're supposed to be divining everything we do. Even our governing system, we're supposed to divine before we make any move. Before we make deals with anybody, whether China or Europe, we're supposed to involve our spiritual system. Divine to ask the guide, whether, is this what we should do? Should we do this? Should we not do that? We're supposed to involve our spirituality in everything we do. But we're confused. And obviously, you guys always say, Einstein said, definition of insanity is
Doing something
over and over and expecting a different result. And our governing people that have been ruling us are Christian and Muslims, and they've been there, and we stick to the same system over and over. And Africa's been what? Poverty for the last how many years? We still the same thing. It's just poverty, no confusion. Nobody understands what's going on. Everybody just pointing fingers. Oh, it's this guy's fault. Oh, it was this guy. In Nigeria, it's so stupid. Like when you listen to Nigerians, when they start blaming each other for what happened, they would say, oh, it's this tribe. That's the problem. And you're asking, how is it that tribe? Oh, because the guy that was the president is from that tribe. How the hell does the tribe, how you hold a tribe responsible for one individual from the tribe did? The individual, if you're saying the person that did a decision used the spiritual system of the tribe to govern at that time, and then you can blame maybe the tribe. But the guy was a Muslim or a Christian, and he became president, and he collaborated with Europeans and screwed things up. And then you're blaming the tribe that he came from. What the hell does this tribe got to do with it? That's what's causing a lot of tribalism in Africa, because everybody want to blame tribes for their bad condition, because the individual that sold out, the individual's a Christian or Muslim that sold out, and you're saying he sold out because he's from this particular tribe. He sold out because he's a Christian, bottom line, or he's a Muslim. I don't know anybody that's practicing my spiritual system from the Yoruba tribe, they will become president of Nigeria, understanding this shit, and then sell Nigeria out. Because come on, man, they took an oath. There's really spiritualists like that practice our spiritual system. They will not sell Nigeria out, man. Come on, for what? It will not even, So the bottom line is, we are not, the only way for Africa is because think about it. You say you want to change Africa. I hear you guys discuss all these Pan-African things, or you have ideas, you want to build this.
Oh, a question. In fact, the question. Someone wants to know where you're from in Nigeria. Is there a strong Pan-African, I guess, movement?
People that are Pan-Africanists have always been there. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying? But they've once they start a movement, they get silenced, man. Or people don't listen to them. Like Fela was a strong Pan-Africanist. Like there are people, and another thing about people that are Pan-Africanists in Africa today, even when Kwame Nkrumah, those guys were taken out, the people they were their followers, the honest followers, the humble followers, the people that carried on, they kept quiet because they don't want to be assassinated. They don't want to send them the same. They don't want to end up with the same fate where they get assassinated. So the Pan-Africanists became silent. So people that are Pan-Africanists, what they do nowadays is just lecture. They'll talk to people, but their voices are not really heard because they don't have access to the like their voices were really silenced like in the 90s and 80s because there was no internet, and there's a Pan-Africans cannot make their way on the television to educate people, or anyone that's like nowadays where someone like yourself in the 90s, there's no way I would have met you, there's no way I would have known you exist, you know what I'm saying? But when the internet came, everybody's able to like start, talking, and people can listen and start learning from that. People like this exist. I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? So those Pan-Africans have always been around. The only thing is them connecting with each other and finding a way to come together and build and do. I mean, the people that have always been rebellious towards the system have always been around. The only thing is I've been using the wrong platform, meaning as far as Christianity, they just don't know where to find. They don't know how to organize themselves, and they don't know who to trust.
Right.
After Thomas Sankara's best friend assassinated Thomas Sankara, would anybody be encouraged to want to, trying to do the same thing, trying to help the people? Like sometimes I don't want to blame these leaders. I don't really want to blame these African leaders. You understand what I'm saying? Because they have no choice but to sell out. I mean, if your own best friend let's say you become a president of Nigeria, and you say you want to do good, and then someone tell you that look what happened to Thomas Sankara. He's trying to do good for his people. His own close friend was sold out and killed him. So it's very difficult for. Sometimes we can't blame these African leaders, man, because then they have either hey, you take the money and enjoy yourself, or you try to do good and someone take you out. That's why I told you our spiritual system is the only way. Because if I get in that position, I will not dare say, okay, I want to start, I'll have to do something different from the way Kwame Nkrumah or Thomas Sankara and all these guys Malcolm X, all these guys, I would have to do something different. And one thing I know that was done before that was successful was the Asian Revolution. You know what I'm saying? When they successfully went revolt, and that was the only successful revolution we have in history. Blacks have record of it. I mean, in a recent history. So that proves to you that our spiritual system is the way. Our way is the only way, dude. Someone else's system cannot lead you, cannot work for you.
So somebody was asking, are you initiated in any type of system?
Honestly, people that we're not supposed to be talking about. I mean, if you want to sit down with me and talk, that's different. But for me to get into on the internet and start talking, I can't do that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, to me, I always take my own spiritual ways or spiritual activity. I keep it personal. But I can advise people, lecture people. But I can advise someone that okay, if you want to get initiated, you want to get into it, I can tell you okay where to go, what to do, and I can give advice. But I cannot talk about myself as my own personal, what level I'm in or what. But I can only advise people on whatever they want to. If you say you want to get initiated, you want to become a priest, I can tell you the process where you can go, where you can do, and the best. I can give advice. Why can I like start telling you my own? What you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't like to talk about myself to that and that. I keep that personal.
Another question is question in the chat room. Do you think spirituality would do a better job uniting Black people versus
Absolutely. We need one thing to put it on the same page, and that's one thing in the African spiritual. Like for example, if you go to the Santeria community, you know what I'm saying, or among the Cubans, the Caribbean people, that's our spiritual system unites them. And if you go to Nigeria, um, people that are part of uh, the society of our spiritual system, because the society is there and they're connected. They exist in Brazil, Colombia, uh, the Caribbean,
Uh-huh.
and they're all very united on our spiritual system. They all call themselves our spiritual system come before even their nationality or their race, and they all go to Ife, our king. So our spiritual system can unite us if you all agree that okay, let's fall under this spiritual system. This is our practice, and this is our ways. This is the rule of life. This is where we see each other. We will forget. We will put it because the spirituality is so strong. It's more powerful than our tribes and cultures and everything. So it's something that we can all take as a uniting point or force, I guess. Our spiritual the walls dividing the black race is just the difference in our cultures. You understand what I'm saying? And our upbringing, our tribes. That's been one thing that's been a dividing factor. You understand?
Right.
Because the way this tribe does one thing, even though we're all the same people, we have the same kind of spirit. We're all similar in our demeanor. I mean, we all like to dance. We all like to be happy. Black people are always happy people. We're resilient. We have a lot in common than we have in. There's a lot we have in common. Then, uh, you know, if I'm around black people, I'm more comfortable. I feel more. You understand what I'm saying? Than I do around other race of people. You know what I'm saying? Like any black person, whether it's Caribbean or I'm more relaxed. You know what I'm saying? That okay, we're both black. There's nothing threatening. I don't feel threatened. The people around me don't feel threatened. Basically, I'm never afraid of anyone. But usually when I'm around, anywhere I go, when I see my fellow blacks, you're more down. You feel like we're the same. So we don't see threats or anything like that. Though we maybe envy each other. That's one thing I noticed. We may like, oh, this group think they're better than us and all that kind of stuff and all those petty things may be happening. But as far as me afraid of a black person, without some kind of conflict or something, before too, black people can really want to harm each other. It has to be because they actually done something to each other, offend each other, or I'm not gonna be afraid that black people is gonna lynch me for no reason because I'm black. So anywhere I go, we have more in common than indifference. So we just need one thing to unite us as people. So I think our spiritual system is one thing that can unite us, especially uh, the Ifa system, the Yoruba system. I think that's something everyone should look into. And typically, people are running into the same system. When I run into them for the first time, we become best friends. Like I've run into someone that's Brazilian or Cuban, and once we start talking about spiritual system, oh man, we just fall in love with each other. So we forget anything else. We forget the fact that each culture is different. Anything that our spiritual system alone is just above our culture. Anything else is, we understand the value system. And this knowledge is so deep that you cannot learn enough. So and every time you hang around someone is in the system, maybe he has increasing knowledge, he can share more knowledge with you and things like that. So our spiritual system is something that can definitely bring us together and unite us as a people versus Christianity or Islam. And yeah, and people go to the same church and they still, I mean, come on, man. Even with this Christianity, you have a black church, white church. They still white people still won't let you into their own church anyway. So I mean, so with Christianity, I don't see how Christianity as though Islam is better. Islam kind of unite Muslims. I think Muslims are more united than Christians.
I agree too. I agree too.
Because I noticed that in Muslim society, I see that they come together. Islam is more spiritual than Christianity, I'll be honest. Because Muslims, they're ready to die for each other sometimes. So even Nigeria, the reason why the north of the country always rule and always win politically, that's the one area they dominate, like the political area they dominate because they are united under Islam. But whereas in the southern part of Nigeria, where we have the Yorubas, the Igbos, the Ijos, the Efiks, the Bibios, we have all these tribes in the south. And let me tell you about Nigeria. The funny thing was that Nigeria was colonized separately. Nigeria, when the British was in Nigeria, they had a northern protectorate and a southern protectorate, right?
Right.
The south was colonized as a separate country, and the north was colonized as a separate country. And the north were colonized because they were Muslim, they already had Islamic system. So when the British left, whenever we want the South were more like they understand each other more. The Yoruba and Igbo were more understanding of each other, and the other tribes in the South, like the Ijos, the Yoruba and Igbo are the majority in the South. But we have all the other tribes, like the those Ijos, a lot of tribes, the Niger Delta area and all that. But in the North, they also have a lot of tribes. But the majority in the North are the Hausa Fulanis, Hausa and the Fulanis. but they also have a bunch of other tribes. But every one of them will see each other as different tribes. They also see each other as Muslim brothers. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
there's no conflict among them. But we in the South, most are Christians. And they are Christians, but their tribe come before their Christianity. So whenever they want to do election, back in the day, when the British left, whenever they want to do election, the North will come united and bring one candidate, right, to contest for the election. Now the South will come with like 3 candidates or 4, like Yoruba will come with one guy, Igbo will come with another guy, and the Niger Delta will come with another candidate. So now the North, when they vote, like our population is equally, like we probably have more population in the South than in the North. But when they do the election, the entire North will vote under one voice, under religion, religious line. And the South, we're voting separately. We're also divided. They're Christians, so they believe they're the same people. They're closer to each other than the North because they're not Muslims like the North. And the North will win the election, and then they will get angry, like, oh, why is the North always ruling? These people are now, they believe they're not as educated as people in the South. They're not as they weren't as educated as the southern part of the people in southern Nigeria. But politically, they always win the election because they're united under Islam. So Islam is more united than Christianity. That Christianity to me is really not very effective, to be honest with you, man. It's not very effective,
All right, so we have another question. All religions were invented by humans. Humans are imperfect. Therefore, there is no such thing as a perfect religious system. Know thyself and know thy history, or be a mental slave. How does that apply to African spiritual?
I told you before in the last lecture, all this religion, Christianity, Islam, they started here on earth. They have dates where you can go and say, okay, you started. Christianity was created by these people called the Council of Nicaea. I forgot. I think it was in 325.
The Council of Nicaea, correct?
Council of Nicaea. They created Christianity.
Yeah, that was pretty much decided the fate of Christianity, as we know today.
That what?
It decided the fate of Christianity as we know it today.
Yeah. So you can many Christians don't even know. They don't go read the history of what it. Like I told you, if you want to embark in anything, go study the history of it before you start taking part of it. So people that became Christian, they don't even know the history of Christianity. They don't know. Most people don't even know.
No. Listen, Mike. So they do know, but they just have a million excuses as far as what happened, how Christianity's been comprised. So they'll use the excuse that it's God's will. That's why the Bible we had as we have it today is the Bible we use, because it's God's will, even though man came in and compromised it. So you understand, Mike, they do know. They're very educated and aware as far as the Council of Nicaea, why there's 50 different versions of the Bible. They're very aware. But again,
so what I'm saying is
God's plan, so they just tolerate it.
So it's God's will that we should be suffering and being in this hell? Like,
it's God's will. Yeah, it's God's will. It's God's will why Donald Trump's in office. It's God's will why people suffer. It's God's will.
Exactly, man. I think the colonials, they've done a good job, like, programming our minds, man. Just like in Christianity, we say, turn the other cheek, they slap you, just turn the other cheek, So, I mean, it's hard, man, when you've learned something from, when something has been taught to you since a child, it's hard for you to let it go, man. It's very difficult, because I think what people are afraid of is hellfire thing, the hell thing, because they believe that, without Jesus, they're going to hell, so that fear of the unknown is what's scaring people. The fear of, is this hell real? What if it's true that what the Bible is saying is true? So let me not take a chance. Let me just stick to it, because if it happen to be true, I don't want to end up in hellfire. So that hell part is what, they use, the fear factor is what it is. And unfortunately, if you use your senses, think very well. God is not a wicked to just tell you that, to not give you proof of things that you want, God is, the creator is not a wicked to just have you worshiping him blindly, So it's up to them, man. Like I said, if people want to continue to suffer, well, one day they'll get to a point where, hey, they've just had enough and they need to wake up, They've just added, and hey, I'm done suffering. It's time for me to, do something about this suffering.
Are you familiar with Simon Kimbangu? I think he's from the Congo.
Hold on. I think it might be one of the guy that wrote one of the books that I sent to you. But let me look the name of the book to make sure I can see if it was him. Hold on, give me a second. See if it's the same guy. That name sounds very familiar, man. Just give me 1 second.
Oh, no problem. And everybody, while Mike is looking for that resource, thank you for joining us again. Please go to amarachitv.com. It's a platform for African media. Okay, amarachitv.com. Please go there. Please sign up. It's an African platform, African entertainment and media platform. So please go support that platform. The sister Ingrid is in the chat room right now as we speak. So make sure you go and support. Hopefully Ingrid and her business partner will be on this weekend or sometime this week. The platform is always open to you, Ingrid. So please come on when you get situated with and whenever you're ready.
What is the name of that guy again?
Simon Kimbangu.
I didn't find something familiar, but it's not. I thought it was one of wrote this book. Now I'm looking, but
And Titan Moore. Thank you for the super chat. Everybody who super chatted so far. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's not the guy I thought he was, but that is still sound familiar, but I don't know who he is. Who is it?
I don't know. I'm waiting for somebody to. I'm waiting for Sultana Sokoto to reply back and tell us. Yes, I'm just waiting for him to respond. Yeah, so whenever he responds back, then we'll get an idea of what it is. But he's from the Congo, right? Let's see here. Yes, Bundu Dia Congo is very. No, he hasn't said anything yet. But brother, I know you have to get up early in the morning. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out and just share with us in closing. Give us your final thoughts in regards to Jesus can either.
Before we even get to that,
it will take your time. I just I just want to respect.
Yeah, it's fine, man. I mean, as long as what time is it?
It's right now it's 9:17 where I'm at, so it's 8:17.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, okay. So as long as it's not 10, usually by 10 I want to be in bed, boys. We still got a few minutes. Another thing, one thing about Africa, like I said, I was saying earlier, like they don't teach history in Nigeria. I was born like 12 years after the Nigerian Civil War, and growing up, I did not know anything about the war. Like until like that's how messed up.
That's about Biafra, right?
Yeah, Biafra war. I'm talking about like recently. I had a 20-year-old Nigerian, like when they started this whole Biafra movement. I had a 20-year-old Nigerian kid ask me, "What is Biafra?" I'm like, "What? You didn't know?" That's how bad they don't teach history in Africa, dude. So you have to understand where like they don't teach history, like people. And the reason why I bring that point is this: I want people to understand that history is very important too. Like anything you do, always study history, study the history of it, or even like learn about your past. Because most Africans, like I said, don't know anything about transatlantic slave trade. And we mentioned that when Europeans come to Africa, when they come to Nigeria, everybody, when they come in, we just welcome, bow down to them, And history shows that, okay, in our history, the Europeans came just like they came to North America, and they came as friends and things like that. And now in return, they stabbed them, killed them, destroyed them, Now they came to Africa, they came as friends in the beginning, and then they started the whole destruction and everything. Till today, Africa never learned from their history. They don't know. Like, white people can come over there and they start worshiping them. I'm not saying, though we are nice people by nature. We are nice. I'm not saying people should stop being nice to white people or anything like that. I mean, we should continue to be who we are, be nice, well, at least be conscious of your history and things like that. The African would like to welcome people. We naturally welcome it. You've been to the continent, you saw it. People will welcome you. They treat you nice, but the people need to know the history. And there was something that I was also going to talk about. I was going to talk about it last time, but I forgot. But then, something about our deities.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was something I was going to tell you about dates. Oh, yes, it has to do with our ancestors. It's a part of our spiritual thing that is very important. I share with you.
Go ahead.
Okay. I told you that there's a lot of spiritual things that are happening that we're not aware of, right?
Right.
Okay. If you notice, like, this might hurt a lot of Europeans, white people that are watching, might hurt their feelings, but this is the truth, man. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. When Europeans, when they come to conquer Native Americans, that's one thing they used to do. They would bring disease to take them out, right? To wipe the population out, right? They would try to use this disease to wipe them out, okay? Or use some kind of form of genocide, And Africans never asked themselves, or Black America, anybody never asked themselves, how come they never use disease to wipe Black people out? Maybe off a beautiful island like Jamaica, or even Black Americans. I mean, you ever ask yourself, why come they never try to use disease to wipe us out? And another thing I'll tell you, that we've always had diseases coming almost especially the past 50 years, we've had like some of the most deadliest diseases. And typically, they have started among us, among Black people, right? Right?
Right.
Okay. Now, do your research. You will find out that every time a disease comes out and is dumped in the mix of Blacks, within a short period of time, Black people start developing immunity to that disease.
Mm.
Right? Do you know that Africans started developing immunity to HIV? There's some Africans that HIV will not.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. Okay. Remember when the Ebola crisis started, right?
Yes.
It started when they dumped Ebola in Sierra Leone. I think Liberia was the worst.
Liberia.
When people started, people just dying. Remember, like within weeks, there were people that they would catch it and their body just developed immunity to it. Right?
Right.
Okay. You ever question yourself that there might be some kind of spiritual thing, some kind of supernatural spiritual thing that's happening? You ever ask yourself that question?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Now let me tell you something, man. We have the pantheon, we have the orishas, right?
Yes.
And all these orishas, they all have their roles, their special powers, their special roles. There's an orisha called Osorin. It's the orisha for herbal medicines, right? Whenever traditional priests want to find a medicine for a disease or something, that's the orisha that they consult. They'll guide them. Typically, I know a lot about our priests. Some priests in Nigeria, they're trained enough whereby when they consult this orisha for solution for a sickness, or they want to find a medicine for a particular sickness, the orisha will actually guide them, tell them that, okay, there's a plant somewhere that when this so time, maybe at dawn or after sundown, to go and cut their plants and use that will cure, that will solve the problem. These people usually go to the forest and communicate with animals. The animals can direct them to a plant that they can use to cure a particular disease, right? When the spirit of deity is there, the spirit can actually control the animal to communicate with the priest. Now, there's another deity. It's called Sokono in the Yoruba language. This deity is basically the deity that now the one I mentioned is the one that design herbs and things. When this is the other deity, is the one that actually work with the population, whereby when the population being wiped out, is the one that comes and create some type of order whereby the population maintains, right? So this is what happened in the olden days. Whenever disease like Ebola break out like that, we used to have back in the ancient days, that our priests get together fast and consult these deities to come. But nowadays, because people have lost their ancient tradition, they don't know what to do. Like in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, back then when that stuff was happening, people were just clueless. They don't know. They have nothing to run to. Many ran to the church. They were dying inside of the church. Many were calling on Jesus. Jesus is not going to save them. Muhammad, nothing. They were just dying helpless. Right? America, CNN were carrying them, showing the dead bodies, making fun of them, trying to claim that, we're there to help them. Were they making fun of them, thinking, these people were going to die out? This disease. I mean, that was the point where I thought, Africa was done, because the whole thought Ebola was just going to spread across the whole continent and wipe the people out. And somehow the disease just disappeared, right? People never ask themselves, if disease like smallpox, there's nothing as deadly as Ebola can wipe Native American out. And something as bad as Ebola could not kill all Africans. And nobody ever asked themselves, is there something supernatural happening? Now, let me tell you what our spiritual system talks about. When we die, we're not dead. Our spirit is still alive. Our spirit still lives on. So when a person dies, right, the spirit goes to the spirit world and reports why it dies, right? And what happened is, instead of us on earth invoking these deities to come and solve the problem, that people that die, when they go to the spirit world, they go to report in the spirit world. And when they get to the spirit world, they can actually instruct the deity to come down and solve the problem. You understand? So when our people die, they go to heaven, and they can actually communicate with the deity, the particular orisha that can solve their problem they were having, to come down and actually do something to, control, to put the thing back, to pretty much put things back in place, to solve our problem. And that's the reason why Europeans have been struggling to wipe us out. Our spiritual system is really, really involved in our daily life that we don't know about. But we're not connected to it. That's why the part that we need to play is our part to connect to it. But because we're not connected to it, it's like a one-way street. Only one street is working, the other street is not working. So our ancestors in the spirit world, they're doing their own parts. But we in the physical world, we're not playing our own parts. That's why we're stuck. We're just confused. And so we're conditioned in a position where, it's like we're being, injected with something, just put us to sleep. So we're pretty asleep. We're a sleeping giant. That's who we are. Until we wake up to who we are, our spiritual system, our way of life, our real African ways. And people will say, oh, yeah, we haven't developed. Development is not going to start until you start using your own. And out of the Chinese people, in China, they made foreign religion illegal. In China,
this was during the when they had the Cultural Revolution, right? Or
I mean, for them, no. When the Chinese got the same together, say, you know what, we want to develop as well. And the one thing they understand is we're not going to allow foreign Europe to come influence us. So they ban anything Europeans or Arab, Christianity and Islam, they ban it. They ban it. So they stick to their own spiritual ways, and just everything Chinese is what they follow. And today, China rised. I'm talking about England was like a country that was trying to bully China back then. Today, England cannot bully China, So African, we always look. Some African always make a stupid comment about, oh, the white people, man, they make technology. They do these. They're so wild. We have to respect them. We have to worship them because they're so smart. They do good technology. Why don't you say, okay, they're doing technology. Oh, let me go do my own. Why do you have to worship them and try to use their technology? The Chinese, they say, oh, when the British came to China, the British are more advanced in technology than the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? They were more advanced in technology than the Chinese. But the Chinese did not say, you know what? Oh, because these people have technology, they're superior to us. They're better than us. The Chinese say, you know what? These people can build these things. Oh, let's see. Let's try to build our own. And the Chinese are more advanced than the British today in technology, So we Africans need to start looking at ourselves saying, oh, we are dumb. We can't do things. So because these people can build nice things, they can build, so that way we should bow down to them. We should worship them. They're smarter than us. They're better than us. Actually, I'll be honest with you. When I was growing up in Nigeria, I'll be honest, I thought white people were just smarter than us until I came to America and went to school with white kids and realized I was the smartest kid in the fucking class. And that's when I was shocked, like, whoa. These white kids, I thought they were geniuses, and I just thought white people were just genius. Like every white person would do better than me in school, And when I came to America, going to school with white kids, and I was outshining them. I was doing better than them, So that's when I realized, you know what? I don't think these people are naturally more intelligent than us, So we can build we can do our own things. We don't need to stop burning down to people because they're building some things. We're just not organized. We're not doing it. People will say, I can block that. This is one stupid white supremacy guy named Richard Spencer, and he was telling somebody that how come Africans are not building how come they're not building right? They're not doing things. Oh, we white race, we're genetically superior to the blacks. And I'm looking at I think he was doing an interview with this dumb Roland Martin, and I'm like, Roland Martin is the fool. Why didn't you ask him? Why didn't you ask the guy that? Is it because maybe they haven't tried? They haven't started doing. They haven't started doing it. Maybe that's why. But it's not like they've been trying to do it and they're not succeeding. It's not like Africans. We have a science, technology program that we have scientists in Africa, but no one is working with them. Right. Because we have puppets, rulers. They don't have science programs. So we're not organized doing anything. That's why we're not producing things. We're not making things happen. We're not inferior because someone else is doing more technology and stuff. We're not inferior. People need to heal their self-esteem. A lot of black people have low self-esteem because of that reason. They say, oh, these white people are so advanced in technology, so they're better than us. No. People need to stop that stupid mentality. They need to put that shit away, And that's something I was going to talk about, man.
Go ahead. Take your
time. So, our spiritual system is definitely something we should look into. And at least people should at least study. You don't have to participate. The thing is this, what trips me out about people is this. Okay, you don't have to become a priest. And the funny thing about our spiritual system is this, you don't have to become a priest or become You don't even have to be initiated or anything. You just need to have knowledge of it. You just need to have a knowledge of your consciousness. You just need to have knowledge, understand. The old, just understand the stories, the fables, the parables. To know that, hey, this is not evil, and you can protect. We should. Back in the days, there used to be a lot of priests everywhere. For almost every household used to have a priest. Wherever there's a problem in your family, the priest would divine. Today, you go to Nigeria, to find a priest. Oh my God, you got to travel, you got to search. Even the priests themselves, they don't let people know they're priests anymore because everybody's demonizing them. So we don't even have people that divine for us. Divination is very important, dude. Divination is very, very important. Divination, things can be coming your way. Something very terrible can be coming your way. And divination can tell you that, listen, there's something very bad coming your way. You need to be careful. You need to watch. I mean, there's so many people that get warnings about things, you know? And some people, tragedies are happening. Even when the Europeans were coming, I heard that they were the funny thing is our spiritual priests in Nigeria, they divine. These people they divine for the nation. They even divine. Like, okay, oh, people should. And that was before the Europeans came. There was a divination that came out, and the divination. I don't want to say it in Yoruba language, but I would say it in English. I kind of trying to translate it in English language. The divination warned the people that if I told them, how if our system predict where we are today, that we're gonna leave our ways, right? The if our system say you can go all you want. You can go and dance around as far as you want to go. Whatever you left from, you're eventually gonna return to it. So the definition system already told us that, oh, we're gonna leave our system. You already see what we are going. These Europeans are gonna make us leave our system. But eventually, when we catch enough hell, we're gonna realize that we need to come back. And they say whatever you left, the origin, you're gonna come back to it. So our system already predicted that we eventually Africans will come back to their source. And then another warning that the Odu produced at that time when the Europeans first came, the Odu also warned the people that um, whatever belongs to us will no longer entice us. Whatever somebody else brings is what we start showing interest into, right? And then the divination I said something that the creator has created in the ocean, in the water, is enough for the fish to be content, to eat and be content with. But whatever a a trick, a hook will bring into the water. That doesn't belong into the water. It will bring into the water. The fish, because of selfishness and greed, the fish will go and start hitting that thing, and that's what's happening in Africa. Europeans will bring things and trick us to start accepting it. Kind of like when you go fish, trying to catch a fish, you put something that look like a fish on a hook, and the fish is in the ocean because they're so food hungry, they go chew on it, and then they get hooked. You get what I'm saying? And that's how you catch fishes, right? And that's how Europeans got us. They came from outside and started bringing things that doesn't belong, that God didn't create among us, that's foreign to us, and we all started chewing on it because it looks so great. Because the packages make it look nice, so we started chewing on it, and that's how we got hooked, and we're still on the hook right now. We just got to figure out where to hook ourselves and be free, you know. So that's really our problem. That's our problem.
Hmm.
And oh man, Africans just gotta wake up, man. They just
Gotta
gotta.
wake up. I mean, that's
gotta
pretty much that
yeah.
simple, straight to the point. Gotta wake up.
Mhm.
Well, brother, what do you like to share in closing in regards to Jesus versus Muhammad can either save Africa? What are your closing thoughts?
My own thing is, I don't think uh, you going to church or you being a righteous person is bad. You just being a good person is good enough, honestly. So if you say you want to go to church, I'm not telling you dump your Christianity or anything or dump your Islam. I mean, I don't think God will punish you for our creator Olodumare doesn't punish you for. See, our system don't tell us that we have to be a member of a particular religion or live our life a particular way or anything like that.
Right.
What our system is telling us is just to live our life according to our consciousness, our ori, our guiding spirit. We should live in line with our destiny. So if you're living a life, if you're a Christian and your life is working for you, I mean, only advice I can tell people is that go and don't just be ignorant. Go and study and think and learn history. Trying to use your senses, trying to think. Read and study. Don't just accept things for face value. And the deity called Eshu, right? They call it the trickster, right? God put him here on earth to teach humanity that they're two-faced to things in life, not to take anything for face value. So when people, reason why people call him trickster is because a lot of old dudes that talk about him is the kind of person that will test you. Like, for example, there were two friends, right?
Right.
That a priest in a story in the old dudes, that two friends, that a priest told them, warned them not to just always take things for face value. And they despised what the oracle told them. So the Eshu decided to test them. So Eshu paint one of his face red, white, and paint the other face black. So the two friends were standing on opposite directions. So Eshu walked past them, right? And later on, they both came to each other and said, "Listen, did you see that man that just walked past?" They said, "Yeah, I saw him. His face is white." No, the other one said, "No, his face is black." And they started arguing. They were arguing, fighting, and then their friendship ended, So they started fighting each other. So there's a two side to everything in life. Don't take anything with face value. There's always, when somebody presents something to you, don't just accept it. Do a research. Don't take things for face value, So people should always use their senses, their consciousness, or tap into their consciousness and let their spirit guide them. And just study, trying to understand things. Don't let someone come to you and tell you this is this, and you just accept it. That's my only advice to people.
Okay, cool. And then if anyone wanted to reach out to you, how if you could give them your contact information so they can ask questions. And also too, I have the list. In fact, let me go ahead and pull that up because I know people wanted the list of books that you were sharing or began to share in our last discussion. I'll go ahead and did you text them to me, didn't you?
Say it again.
Didn't you text them to me? You didn't email.
I think I texted them.
Oh no, they're right here. They're right here. They're right here. I got them right here.
Yeah, those just kind of books that will kind of like give you knowledge of the system. But as far as if you say you want to become a priest or you want to be initiated into the system or you want
that's a whole nother process.
That's a whole different process. Those books are just to kind of give you like knowledge of the whole system, But as far as saying you want to partake in the spiritual system and become a priest to become a priest, first of all, anybody don't think it's like a Christianity where you just open a church, become a pastor.
Yeah.
That's not training. It will take you at least, if you're smart enough, you take at least 7 years to become a diviner.
Right. There's so many bootleg fake babalos out there.
Yeah, they're out there. Yeah. So,
E5 priests out there. Yeah. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Please go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also go to Africa Personified on those same. No, he's not, Mr. Hogan. Also, please go to Africa Personified on those same platforms. Go to dynastysamir.com, go to searchforhuru.com, go to africapersonified.africa, and go to amazon.com and search your name, Dynasty Samir. Please buy a book. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Peace.